is Lena KrupinA, and today we will probably talk about the strangest day at the World Championship. I hope it won't get worse. Every day Sofia brings us something amazing, but what happened on the carpet today really just seems like an evil eye or some kind of damage. In general, were there any teams today that performed without losses? I doubt, but in the end, the medals were played and the third day of the World Championship is over. But what exactly happened and what is being discussed now, I will tell in this video. And before the start of the video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And let me remind you that YouTube is Russia is not monetized, so it will be especially pleasing if you can support me with donations. All the links are in the descriptions. Thanks in advance. Well, I openly urge you to follow the Telegram channel. There's a lot of interesting information and most importantly, it appears promptly. So on September 16th, on Friday, the all-around was held for group teams. According to the results of the all-around, the girls played the first 3 quotes for the Olympic Games. Also following the results of the performance, the girls were selected for the finals of individual types and played team all-around medals. Well, let's start with the main all-around groups. Unlike individual gymnasts, group gymnasts immediately fight for medals and they don't have selections for the World Championship. So here is the first performance and immediately a medal. There were also withdrawals here. The Canadian team withdrew due to an injury of one gymnast. They wrote that the team arrived in Bulgaria a week before the World Championship and went through a control training where one gymnast had a torn meniscus. The gymnast was replaced, but apparently another one had an injury too. This championship never ceases to amaze. Well, the all-around was won by the Bulgarian team, and if someone thinks that they were overestimated or others were underestimated, I will hurry to stop your wrong thoughts. Visually, the Bulgarian team was obviously their best. At a minimum, they just screwed up at the least, and in terms of difficulty are obviously much stronger than everybody else. With 5 hoops, the girls had a loss. The girl did not catch the throw with her foot and the hoop jumped off. In another place, the gymnast ran behind the apparatus and the rest was not very bad. The routine with balls and ribbons was done quite well without any losses. From what I like in Bulgaria, this is of course the routine with 5 hoops, and I really like the leotards for the ribbons. Still, white leotards look very impressive. The Israeli team took second place and there were also some misunderstandings about the scores. So the routine with 5 hoops was performed very well without visible errors. By the way, in this routine it is especially noticeable that Alian Zusman was the choreographer, since the style from individual gymnast is passed on to the group. They all fit right. Well, I already kind of said that it is noticeable that Israel loves dance music, but it is also for the best of the girls. The hall lights up and the support is immediately great. In general, I really like the hoop routine, but with the ribbon, the dirt started from the very beginning. So on the first throw, the ribbons got tangled and there was a hitch. Then there were several inaccuracies in the routine. When the gymnast moved around the carpet and at the end of the routine, the ribbon had a knot and the score ended up lower than in the hoop because of such minor errors. But many were alerted that with such tangled ribbon, you can't even win silver. The girls themselves were very emotional in Kiss and Cry. I think they obviously did not expect such a score. The Spanish team won bronze medals. The hoops were relatively clean with only one inexpensive loss, but the ribbons were quite messy. In general, nothing major, but in my opinion, there was a lot of dirt on the little things. The coaches were satisfied as well as the girls themselves. The score was not so high, but sufficient for a medal. I really like the girls' performance with 5 hoops, leotards, music, and various dance tricks. I really like it. Well, one of the biggest dramas of this final is the Italian team, which obviously came here for gold, and in the information field, they have already been presented as champions, since the girls' routines are cut above the rest in terms of difficulty, but that's true only if they are done cleanly. But unfortunately, this was not possible. So the girls did their routine with balls and ribbons, the same with an incredible idea and leotards, and I think obviously champion ambitions. But almost from the very beginning, everything went according to a dirty scenario. The ribbon did not want to obey. Well, what caught the eye of many was that the ribbon was lying on the floor during the routine for a very long time. Sometimes it was, of course, the idea. But in the middle of the routine, the girl jumped off a fouette and did not do the turn in the end. Then during an exchange, someone did not catch the ball and it rolled away. And then they obviously missed something on the apparatus difficulty. And finally, they tangled the tape at the end in a dirty way. And if you look as an audience, you might think that the routine was performed quite well, but in fact there were quite a few mistakes on which the girls lost points in difficulty, and accordingly the score turned out to be low. I think the girls understood everything when they finished the routine. It was clear from their faces that they were upset. The most difficult thing for the girls, I think, was that they still had to do the second routine, but fortunately it worked out much better, which is actually noticeable, and according to the score of the hoops, they scored the highest score in all routines, although there were still inaccuracies, and if you look carefully, quite a lot of them, which means the score might have been higher. So I think the girls still have a chance to compete for medals for certain types and prove that they can do balls and ribbons well. The 5th place in the all-around was taken by the Brazilian team. I think this team was not particularly expected to be seen here, but such an amazing World Championship. The girls have very clever leotards for balls and ribbons. Here, of course, there were some mistakes. Traditionally, the hoops of all the teams came out better. The girls liked the leotards for the hoops in my favorite style, one color and a lot of stones. By the way, judging by the score, the girls can still compete for a medal in the finals of individual events. I will definitely be expecting them. The 6th place was taken by the team of Mexico. Not everything went well here, so there were a few mistakes, but this was enough to overtake the other strong teams such as China. They obviously expected something higher from them, and after Anastasia Bliznyuk joined the team, they are waiting for medals. But so far in the all-around, only 7th place. And unfortunately, mistakes. So in balls and ribbons, on a personal throw, the ball exited the carpet and the girls had to change an apparatus. In a result, a large piece of the routine flew out. The hoops also had a slight hitch at the beginning, but otherwise good. In fan circles, the Chinese team is very fond for their original and interesting features. The girls have incredible performances, and it's even difficult for me to choose what I like more. They have fantastic leotards for the ribbons and my favorite music from Harry Potter, a lot of interesting findings. And in the hoops, there are also beautiful leotards, interesting findings on the apparatus and with national motifs. In general, I would really like the Chinese team to fight for gold. They are very good too. Following China, the Japanese team also ended up being my favorite. But as I have repeatedly said, that with the departure of Inna Bystrova, they seem to me to have lost a lot, at least according to the results. They feel like that. Although the girls in any case bring an interesting flavor and their leotards are still beautiful and they have unusual performances. The Azerbaijani team took the 9th line, and here I read a very curious moment on the internet that with such sources that Azerbaijan has, halls finances the ability to invite anyone, it is strange that they show such results, and I probably agree. Although I like the Azerbaijani team and they always have something of their own, like for example their leotards that are beautiful in their minimalistic style. At this tournament they also had beautiful blue ones with a shiny top. They looked really unusual. Another team that I definitely want to talk about is the Ukrainian team. The girls in the all-around took 12th place and unfortunately could not reach any finals, but given that the girls were collected literally 2 starts ago and given the conditions in which they have to prepare now, I'm sure they still have everything ahead. As for the routines, I really like the leotards for balls and ribbons. As I understand it, white is a new trend in rhythmic gymnastics. In execution, the girls had mistakes and expensive ones. So from the largest in the ribbons, there was a replacement of the subject and a disrupted transfer. Another interesting point is that I don't usually talk about the best from the end, but here it's just that the team was clearly lower level. So I want to share that the Armenian team took 29th place and scored 8 points and 2/10 for the a routine with balls and ribbons. And no, it's not just the difficulty or execution or artistry. It is the entire exercise. Of course, I don't judge. Each country has its own level and they are already great for coming and performing. I think it's cool, but the scores attract attention anyway. Well, you can understand the performance here was not entirely clean. For the second routine, the girls scored twice as much and got 16 and 2. In general, this moment is quite interesting, although gymnastics is quite developed in their country. Well, another important medal that was played is the team all-around medal. Here, due to the fact that Bulgaria and Israel did not participate in the team due to the removal of Lena and Daria Tamanov, the results were quite expected. So the gold medals in the team was won by the Italian team consisting of Sofia Raffaelli, Milena Baldassari, and the group team. There was a nice moment at the award ceremony when Sofia put her medal on her coach and Milena gave her rose to Giulietta Cantalupi. I love such moments. I think this gesture is the maximum appreciation for the work of their coach. The silver medal was won by German gymnasts as part of Daria Varfolomeev, Margarita Kolosov, and the group team. It was discussed a lot here that the group team took only 14th place in the all-around, and in the team, the girls won medals of such a high value. In general, it often happens that some type of country is at a high level in individual and lower level in group. Before this happened even more often. This is only in rare cases where gymnastics is very developed. They have equal group and individual gymnasts. I don't see anything wrong with this since gymnastics in Germany is still at the stage of development. While bronze medals were won by the Spanish team as part of Alba Bautista, Polina Berezina, and the group team, which certainly became a great success for Spain. As I often say, circumstances will be forgotten, but the title will remain. Well, the group teams have already taken their quotes for the Olympics, so in the group, we will definitely see the teams of Bulgaria, Israel, and Spain. On this note, we will end. Write everything what you think about the groups and who did you like the most. And remember that I love you all very much, and bye-bye.